I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get a no call to quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. My heart on my sleeve, stress, seal my greed. That's how I get it. Success ain't no giving. Some days I don't eat, I don't sleep. When I'm focused, I'm dangerous. They don't want it when I'm anxious. Ain't no limit till I tank. I'm running on fumes. The opposition don't amaze. The roads racing through the pavement. Get your hands out of my bag. I know that's because I've been in it. I don't need to brag. I guess that's what happens when you taking care of your business. But some family, you do the math. From out of my pocket, Houston, we got a problem. I ain't perfect, let them watch me. Elevating, got them nauseous. Cause I'm the pilot in the cockpit. Nose diving in the house. And woo! Watch out, get ahead. Watch out, get ahead. Watch out, get ahead.
It's time! Welcome to DFS by the Numbers with your host, Brady.
Better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. These are my final thoughts for UFC Vegas 52. We have Jessica Andrade going against Amanda Lemos. I know a lot of people are crapping on this card, but I am most definitely looking forward to it. A ton of spots stick out. I think there's going to be a lot of violence. So yeah, should be a lot of fun, honestly, although it's not the highest in terms of name value, but violence should be expected here for sure. Before we get started, if you guys can please leave a like, subscribe to the channel. Also, we are live at the same time on the MMA Engine YouTube channel. I put the link to that in the description. I'm going to move this show over there officially onto the MMA Engine channel. I'm thinking May 14th after that UFC 274 pay-per-view. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the MMA Engine so you not miss out on that. And also, we are starting to bring some new content in. Me and Weezy did go live last night for probability. We went through all the props, the over-unders, fight goes and fight doesn't go, all the good stuff. Check that out if you have not yet. That is also on the MMA Engine. And then our guy Lou Betch is doing a new show after this show as well. So lots going on, and I have some more ideas in the works as well. So yeah, let's shout out the chat and get right into it. I have a ton of stuff to talk about. This is the most action I've had in probably months, and it's a lot of violence, like Mushroom says. What's up, Brady? One more sleep until violence. What is up, Mushroom? How you doing? We got Glimbot in the chat as well. Sorry I missed the show yesterday. It's 1 a.m. here. Probability will be in the mix each week. Yeah, it's a really good show. You should really check it out, Glenn. We got Thomas saying smells like violence. Absolutely it does. We got Lou Betcha in the chat. What is up, Lou Betcha? Bill in the chat as well. We got Chandler saying let's hammer the books. That is ultimately the plan. A lot of spots sticking out. A lot of big plays. Ready to rock out with your clock out. I like it. Zayed in the chat. JP in the chat. We got Cole in the chat as well. Violence, yes. Violence, Cole, for sure. We got Dan Goldstein. What is up, Dan? I have not seen you in a while. What is up, Dan? Hopefully you are doing well. We got Kristen in the chat. How you doing, Kristen? And Eric saying sleeper card. I think it'll be okay. What's up, Brady? I think this is definitely a sleeper card with a bunch of very, very fun and exciting fights. But I say we get right into it. And let us start with the very first fight of the night. And we have Dean Barry going against Mike Jackson. So we have Dean Barry, who is minus 1,800. And believe it or not, he's not the biggest favorite on the card since Shea Sherman is stepping in on short notice to fight Alexander Romanov. But you will not see a minus 1,800 that often in the UFC whatsoever. And it probably won't be a while till we see another minus 1,800. The thing with Dean Barry is he's not the best fighter in the world. I really don't think he's even UFC caliber, but that just goes to show you how bad Mike Jackson is. Mike Jackson, 0-1. He should be 1-1. He beat CM Punk by decision. That got overturned due to marijuana, but he just doesn't bring a lot to the table whatsoever. He's now like 37, 38 years old. No wrestling, no grappling, some solid striking, bad striking defense. I think Dean Barry just smokes him in the first round. If Dean Barry comes in here and does not smoke him in the first round, just cut them both, right? Like they're giving Mike Jackson to Dean Barry to kind of build him up. And you really cannot ask for an easier matchup here for Dean Barry, hence why he is minus 1,800. So obviously you cannot parlay Dean Barry. I see a lot of people doing so, which doesn't make much sense to me, but I do think there are some ways to play this fight. And that way is going to be, for me at least, is going to be the under 1.5 rounds. I don't know. I think Dean Barry should come out here and start this guy in the first round. If he doesn't, he should, first of all, be very disappointed himself because because that's what they want to happen. They want Dean Barry to go out here and get a highlight finish, and I think he does. Dean Barry, 4 finishes, 3 in the first round, 1 in the second. He's never won over 1.5 rounds. I think this does finish under 1.5 as well. It did open up plus money. I would have liked that plus money on the under, and I don't typically play unders, but I do have a couple this week, and you'll see why. But I have under 1.5 rounds, minus 121. Just 1 unit on it. I don't want to go like overly heavy on this fight because it's an absolute crapshoot, but I do think Barry should come in here and starch Mike Jackson in the very first round. As far as DraftKings goes, I'm not going to be playing much, if any, Mike Jackson. Dean Barry is an okay play, 9,500. The problem with him is you got Alexander Romanov up there. You got Tyson Pedro up there. You have Arichi Long up there, Jessica Andrade. But I do think Dean Barry is live for that first round finish. And for that reason, I do have some Dean Barry in DraftKings. But yeah, first fight of the night, low level fight. But yeah, Dean Barry should go out here and starch Mike Jackson. I would be shocked if he didn't. What is up, Sean? How you doing? Yo, Brady, when you move your content over, will it still be free? Yes, sir. We're going to be doing the same show, same format, everything. Just going to be on a different channel there. I sprinkled MJ the truth. Yeah, I mean, good luck, man. He's probably one of the worst fighters in the UFC history, but anything can happen. We got the General in the chat. What is up, General? We got Travis catching the live stream. What is up, Travis? Under 1.5, nice violence play, Brady. I'm liking the under here. I mean, it could go over, but Dean Barry should starch him. Danny needs to approve Mike Jackson's MMA journalist credentials for life if he survives round 1. Yeah, that is true. If he survives round 1, I will be I'll be impressed for sure. FanDuel holding out their props is shady. Yeah, but FanDuel took their time, and actually a lot of books took their time this week. Dan, that's why he's on the cards. The side bet with Danny. Dan, maybe it could be. And then we got the General taking notes here. We'll keep moving on. Lots to talk about. We have Marcin Prokhnio going against Philippe Lins. And on these prelims, there's so much violence opportunity here, and there's violence here as well. So you take a look at their finish rates. You have Philippe Lins, 86% finish rate. Marcin Prokhnio, an 80% finish rate. You take a look at their losses, especially. You have Prokhnio finished in 4 of 5 losses. Lins finished in 4 of 5 losses. That is 8 out of 10 combined losses have finished inside the distance, and 8 out of 10 have finished by knockout. Philippe Lins is coming back down to light heavyweight. He did start out his career at light heavyweight, moved up to heavyweight, and then he's coming back down. So he's no stranger to light heavyweight, and he did look really good at the weigh-ins, I thought. So maybe we get a improved version of Lins because he looked phenomenal in the PFL. He came to the UFC. He's looked like complete crap. Maybe coming back down to light heavyweight is the move for him, and it could be. But yeah, this is a very close fight. I think somebody gets knocked out. But what really stuck out was some of these props on Philippe Lins. So FanDuel opened up the Philippe Lins by knockout at plus 310. I think it's still there. I put a half unit on Philippe Lins to win by KO at plus 310. The reason being is this guy has a lot of power. He has knockouts on his record, a good amount of them. Prokhnio, bad striking defense, chin up in the air, very chinny. He's been hurt in pretty much every fight. He's been knocked out 4 times. He's been knocked out 3 times in the UFC against Sam Alvey, where Sam Alvey knocked him down. He got back up, and Sam Alvey knocked him out. And then also against Mike Rodriguez, who was not great at all. And then he got knocked out by Magomed Ankalaev, which is no shame in that. But regardless, he has been knocked out 4 times. Lins is going to hit him. Lins is going to hit him hard. I think somebody goes down here. But yeah, that plus 310 on the knockout for Lins really stuck out. So I have that. And then I also have 1.5 units on the under 2.5 rounds, minus 155. And FanDuel actually has that right now at minus 147. So I do think that's a really solid look. And I even think the fight doesn't go currently at minus 210. It's just a little bit underpriced. Both these guys, very good finishers. I think they're just going to stand in the middle and bang it to one man falls. And both guys, very, very undurable. So I think somebody does get knocked out here. But under 2.5 for me. And then also a little sprinkle on that Philippe Lins knockout prop. What is up, Eagles? How you doing? We got Spencer in the chat as well. Huge potential plus money. First fight of the night in Bellator. You have not looked into Bellator much at all, really. Lins looked like he found a good pharmaceutical doctor. Yeah, he looked really good. So maybe that does translate. I hope it does for my knockout prop. We got Monk in the chat saying, "What is up, chat? Let's get it this weekend." Shout out to Monk. Weigh-ins make the Prokhnio pick a little. Yeah, I don't know what I was expecting, but Lins has not fought in a while. Lins has been pulling out of fights, but Lins did look really good at weigh-ins. I'll say that. I like the over 1.5. Yeah, you're gonna be sweating. If you like overs on these prelims, you are going to be sweating. I think the over is I think you're paying juice for it. Let me take a look. But I think you're going to be paying a little bit of juice on that over. I'd actually lean the under. I lean the under 1.5, but I think I guess it could go over. Any fight could go over. Let me see. Yeah, the over 1.5. You're paying like minus 155. I don't really like that, CJ, but I'll make it hit. What do I know? Does a smaller cage play into fights going under? I do believe so, Glenn. But maybe Wheezy knows in terms of the analytics of that. I'm not sure, but I'd lean towards yeah. But I don't think it's like a crazy big difference. All right. Let us keep moving on. We have Preston Parsons going against Evan Elder. Was not able to break this fight down on my full card breakdown and prediction video because this fight did get announced a couple weeks ago. But I was able to look into Elder and already looked into Parsons prior, so I had a very good feel of this fight. And yeah, I think it's a pretty winnable fight for Parsons. So Evan Elder was supposed to fight. I don't think it was next week, but the week after. So he is going to be somewhat prepared, but he is coming up a weight class. He is going to be the smaller fighter. And actually like what I see from Elder. Elder has solid striking, solid power. He has some good wrestling. I've seen him take guys down. It's just, coming up a weight class on short notice against Preston Parsons, who is a black belt in BJJ, very dangerous. He wants to fight on the mat. It seems like kind of a tough matchup for Elder here. If Parsons is not able to get the fight down to the mat, Elder probably knocks him out at some point. Preston Parsons is a kill or be killed fighter, a 100% finish rate in his wins, and a 100% finish rate in his losses. And as you can see on this card, there are a couple kill or be killed fighters. Preston Parsons, Cameron Else, Jordan Wright, Ike Villanueva, kill or be killed. There's a lot of them on this card, and yeah, he's definitely one of them. He's going to go out there, get the finish. If he doesn't, he's going to get finished in his own right. He's been knocked out twice, been submitted once, and he has 100% of his wins do come by submission. So yeah, I kind of lean with Parsons here. I think he does get the fight down to the mat, being the bigger fighter, and I think he eventually gets a submission, and probably in the first round as well. I was kind of surprised at where they opened. The fight doesn't go to decision. Me and Wheezy did the probability last night, and we really talked about liking the fight doesn't go to decision. It was on 5 dimes at like minus 195, and we thought, no way these books are going to open the fight doesn't go anywhere near that, and they did. I think one book has minus 188. Draftkings had minus 190 earlier in the day. It's now minus 225, but I think that minus 190 is still out there. So I was able to get down 2 units on the fight doesn't go to decision, sitting at minus 190. I like that play quite a bit. Preston Parsons has been over 1.5 rounds 2 times in his career, and he's actually never seen the third round. So I don't think that changes here. I like Preston Parsons. I like Preston Parsons in round 1. Parsons by submission is only plus 245. I was kind of hoping you maybe get something a little bit better than that, and maybe FanDuel opens up something decent in terms of the submission prop. But I'm going to be taking a long look at the Preston Parsons by submission. Again, 100% finish rate, 100% of those wins coming by submission. As far as DraftKings goes, I think you're going to need this fight, especially $8,100 a piece. You have Parsons, who has legit finish upside, and you have also Parsons, who can be finished as well. Evan Elder, he's not a bum. He looks really good to me, but he's fought, virtually nobody. It's a step up in competition. He's coming in on short notice, up a weight class. I don't like that for him, but if Elder does win, it is probably by knockout. So a fight you'll want to target on DK. I do lean towards the Preston Parsons side, but ultimately I do like violence, and I think once again the violence prop is way off here. So give me the fight doesn't go in this fight. Got the over 1.5 here. I was kind of leaning under 1.5 on this one. It was that plus money. What contest are you playing tomorrow? I'm going to do the 150 max, and then I'm also going to do some single and double ups as well. But I'm going to take a water break, and then we'll be right back. Whew. And we're back from the water break there. But yeah, more fights here. We have Arichi Long going against Cameron Else. This is probably my favorite fight on the prelims. I think it's a fight that's going to go under the radar. We have Cameron Else, who, like a Parsons, like a Villanueva, like a Jordan Wright especially. This guy's a kill or be killed fighter, like the definition of a kill or be killed fighter. This guy has 10 wins, all of them coming in the first round. He's very dangerous, has power, BJJ black belt. This guy's really good in the first round. It's just when it hits the second round, he just completely falls off a cliff. I don't know if it's like mental or what, but this guy looks horrendous in the second round. I watched a fight a couple of years ago where it was his only decision loss. This guy was gassed out bad like at the start of the second round. This guy had his hands on his knees in the second round. Like he's round one or bust for sure. And if you do like Cameron Else, you probably should play him in round one. But just as the fight goes on, he's not really going to bring a ton. I think he's going to kind of quit. We've seen him quit before. I've seen fights where he would like 10-8 a guy in the first round and then come out in the second round and get starched in the second round. And I don't know what it is, but if Cameron Else wins, it's going to be in round one. If he loses, it's probably in round two. So I think the fight does finish. And I did bet the fight doesn't go to decision. I have 2.5 units on the fight doesn't go to decision at -175. And you can still get it at a decent price out there. I think it's like -200 out there or something like that. But I like the under 2.5. I like the fight doesn't go. Cameron Else, if you like him, round one would probably be the look. But I think Arichi Long is going to go to war with this guy. I think they're both going to stand in the middle and bang. And I like the tougher guy in Arichi Long. Arichi Long never been knocked out. He has been submitted 3 times. But all Arichi Long really has to do is just get to that second round. Once you get to that second round, I think Cameron Else is just going to lay down and quit. So I like Arichi Long to finish Cameron Else in that second round, but I do like violence. It covers both sides. Cameron Else, 100% finish rate, very, very dangerous early on. But as the fight goes on, he definitely does fold. As far as DraftKings goes, I think Cameron Else is a decent pump play because there's not a ton down there. You can either play like a Mike Jackson, a Chase Sherman. Who else is down there? Like Ike Villanueva, or, there's Cameron Else, who at least I do think he is solid for a round. If he does win, it is going to be in the first round. So for that reason, I don't mind Cameron Else as a pump play, but Arichi Long should go out here and, take over as the fight goes on and eventually finish Cameron Else. I'm probably thinking second round there. So, yep, like Arichi Long, liking violence once again, and that's going to kind of be the story for these prelims here. I think there's going to be a lot of finishes early on. Just don't parlay Iori. Yeah, I think he wins, but I think you can get like the fight doesn't go at like even a better price than Iori. Else is shredded up. Looks like he could throw Iori if he wanted. If he gets the fight down to the mat, a sub could be live. Iori has been submitted 3 times, and Else is a black belt. It's a bantamweight versus a flyweight. Else is going to be the bigger fighter, but Iori is pretty big in his own right. I like the under 1 or 2.5 as well. Yeah, not sure what that is. I think it's like around -150. I think that's very solid. Very, very solid there. Mongolian Murderer by Violence and Murder. Yeah, I think he does get him out of there in that second round. But yeah, Else is going to be live early on. On the MMA Engine channel instead of your own, I was confused for a second. Yeah, I'm going to be doing it on both channels until like May 14th, and I'm going to switch it over completely on the MMA Engine. What is up, MMA Asphalt? All right, we will move on to the next fight. And we have Tyson Pedro going against Ike Villanueva. Pedro coming back after a couple-year layoff, and kind of like Dean Barry, Mike Jackson, they're just giving him a complete layup. Like, you can't really ask for an easier matchup in the light heavyweight division than Ike Villanueva. Ike Villanueva has been finished a million times, both by knockout, both by submission. I think Tyson Pedro is either going to knock him out or either going to submit him, and I think he's going to do it in the very first round. The fight doesn't go to decision, -400. That is on BetOnline. You can't parlay the props on BetOnline, but -400, there's even probably value on that straight. Me and Uncle Weezy were talking about it last night on probability. Like, this is a fight that most definitely should end inside the distance. Pedro, a 100% finish rate. Ike Villanueva, no striking defense, no chin, no grappling defense. Pedro should run through this guy, 3-year layoff or not. So I like Pedro here. No hot take for me. I do have the fight doesn't go to decision in a parlay. We'll talk about the other parlay piece in a bit, but I think if you can parlay, the fight doesn't go to decision anywhere near that -400. I think that's a solid parlay piece. Of course, some books have like -650, 675. At that point, you probably want to stay away, but this fight should finish inside the distance more often than not, and this fight should finish inside the first round more often than not. I know a lot of people are on that under 1.5 rounds, and it's chalky, but I think the under 1.5 rounds most definitely hits. But Villanueva, 4 fights in the UFC. I believe all 4 of them have come under 1.5 rounds, and this is probably his toughest matchup yet. So I like Pedro. I like Pedro in round 1. What I also did was I did this with Kevin Holland, but one book had like the KO prop at a certain price. The other book had the submission prop at a certain price. I played them both. Instead of just playing the inside the distance, it worked out better that way. And the same thing here this week. BetOnline had the KO prop at plus 200. I put a half unit on that. And then I also put a half unit on the Pedro by submission prop, plus 180 on DraftKings. So instead of laying like minus 300, something like that on Pedro inside the distance, I kind of spaced it out there and try to get profit if Pedro does win inside the distance, and I think he does. So, Pedro inside the distance, the fight doesn't get the decision, even like the under 1.5, I think are all solid spots. I think Pedro should run through Ike Villanueva. I'd be kind of surprised if he didn't. Rob's saying like and subscribe. I agree. Marshall's saying under 1.5. Yeah, I really like the under, but I just wish it wasn't juiced up this bad. I forget where it opened up, but I would have really liked the under 1.5. But now it's like minus 200 on some books, which it really does make sense. 3 knee injuries is sketch. That knee could give out again on a takedown. Yeah, anything can happen in MMA, but man, Ike Villanueva. I think even if he blows out his knee, he can beat Ike Villanueva, right? So, Mushroom saying Pedro round 2 probably starts slower from the layoff and come out like a wow, man. Yeah, I guess you could look at it that way, but Ike's not going to start slow. Ike doesn't start slow. Ike's going to come forward and try to knock out, Pedro in round 1. So I don't think Ike's going to allow that. So, we keep moving on here to the next fight. If you guys can please leave a like, subscribe, all the good stuff. Put the link in the description below to MMA Engine. Go subscribe down there as well. We have Sergey Kondoshko going against Dwight Grant, and I'm done with the violence for now. I want nothing to do with this fight. This fight's probably my least favorite fight on the entire card. I see it being slow paced. I see it being boring. I see it not a lot going on. Kondoshko coming off of a couple-year layoff. Dwight Grant, low volume, has some power. I don't really want anything to do with this fight. I know people are taking a shot on the split decision prop on DraftKings at plus 500. I think that's where I would look, if anything, but I'm not going to be betting on this fight. Even like Dwight Grant by knockout is only plus 325. I don't want anything to do with that. I don't want anything to do with the fight goes, although I do think it goes to decision. I don't want anything to do with this fight on DraftKings. I don't want to play any Kondoshko. If anything, I'll have some Grant. I think I have like 18% Grant just because you need dogs on the slate, and he was one guy that does have power. So if anything, it's Grant, but I just don't like this fight as a whole from a betting or DFS perspective. As far as a pick, I'll go Dwight Grant with little to zero confidence. But yeah, not my favorite fight on the card by any means. I actually really don't like this fight at all. And I actually wish it was this fight that fell off rather than Manel Kape and Sumadarji, because I was actually looking forward to that one quite a bit. But I'll take Grant. No confidence, no bet. If anything, a split decision plus 500. It's going to be close. It's going to be greasy. Not a lot going on. Split decision does seem about right to me. Sergey by decision is plus 175. That's terrible value. Yeah, nothing really sticks out to me on this fight. Mushroom saying fade Grant. Yeah, I'm fading this fight in general. I don't want nothing to do with it. Other leg of your parlay must be rolling off inside the distance or under 1.5. You are a very good guesser there, because you're right. You're right. Bearded Jordan Wright will become a new mythical creature. Yeah, that could be scary. We got Paul in the chat. What is up, Paul? How you doing? Kristen falling asleep. Hopefully we can wake you up, Kristen, with some bets here. Betting Grant feels like walking on a knife's edge. And yeah, I think betting this fight in general feels like that as well. Mark Barrio, decision only money line. If finish, no action, minus 250. Pretty unlikely Ryan win decision. Seems like a good bet. Yeah, that's just a lot of chalk to be laying on a bet like that. I saw it earlier in the week. It was like minus 170. So that line has got smashed all week. I wouldn't touch it at the current price, but yeah, I think it hits. I definitely think it hits, but I think the fight finishes. I got you, Kristen. Ike Villanueva, armbar from guard. My goodness. Yeah, I don't know about that. I do not know about that. Dan Goldstein, Beard gives you a plus 25 defense points. Well, I'll tell you what, Jordan Wright needs some plus 25 defense points, because the guy has a 38% striking defense, and Ike Villanueva has a 37%. So if anybody needs a Beard, it's going to be Ike Villanueva as well. From air, ground, and water attacks, but they also weakened your own attacks by 15%. Well, that's not good for Jordan Wright. Bearded Beverly Hills Ninja by dominant 30-25 decision. Hot take there from Dan Goldstein. Jordan Wright plus 9,000 to grow facial hair hits. Yeah, I wasn't expecting it either. Let's move on to a more exciting fight here. And it is the people's main event. It's my main event. It's a Jordan Wright fight. I love Jordan Wright fights. People crap on this guy, including me. I've crapped on him so many times, but this guy has a style that is so fun to watch. And if you guys know me, you guys know dang right, I have a violence bet in this fight. I actually have 3 bets on this fight. So yeah, I don't know if the bookies like never watched a Jordan Wright before or Jordan Wright fight before because I do not know what's going on with these fight doesn't go to decision lines. Like I saw a book that had like minus 170 earlier in the week. You know, the books are hanging the minus 200 all week. I was like, what's going on? Like, this is a Jordan Wright fight. You know, one of two things happens. He's going to go out there and starch Marc-Andre Barriault in the first 60 seconds, or Marc-Andre Barriault is going to starch him shortly after. Like, there's no in between. Jordan Wright offensively is very dangerous. You got to give him some respect in that aspect. He has a ton of power, a ton of weapons on the feet, but defensively, you know, one of the worst guys in the UFC. This guy has a terrible striking defense. His chin's up in the air. He hates being pressured. He has a very questionable chin. Marc-Andre Barriault is going to pressure him. He's going to make him feel uncomfortable. And when Jordan Wright gets pressured, he typically gets knocked out. I mean, Fluffy Hernandez knocked him out in the first minute. We saw Joaquin Buckley knock him out as well. You know, Bruno Silva knocked him out. And I think Marc-Andre Barriault probably knocks him out as well. But we cannot completely count out Jordan Wright. Jordan Wright is going to be very live early on. We just saw Marc-Andre Barriault get knocked out in 16 seconds. And that was just 2 months ago. He's coming back way too early. He's coming in on short notice. Jordan Wright has a beard. And for those reasons, you can't really lay the minus 190 on Marc-Andre Barriault. What I would do and what I did, I went very heavy on this fight from a violence perspective. So Marc-Andre Barriault, he's not a decisionator. Like, he can win decisions, but this guy has a lot of power. They call him the power bar. This guy has 9 knockouts. It would be 10. He knocked out Oscar Bajota. That fight did get overturned. He did pop for something, but he has power. He has knockout power. And Jordan Wright, with his lack of defense, with his lack of chin, I think Marc-Andre Barriault is very live to finish Jordan Wright. Jordan Wright, 15 fights. We have a 15-fight sample. Jordan Wright's never been over 1.5 rounds. Jordan Wright's never seen the third round. I really don't think that changes here. I think for the rest of Jordan Wright's UFC career, I don't know how long it's going to be, whether it's, you know, this may be his last fight or a couple other fights. I think they'll keep him. They should keep him. Jordan Wright's awesome. I don't think he'll ever go over 1.5 rounds. Like, that's just not his style. That is absolutely not his style. So I like violence here. I like it a lot. I love this fight. So the first bet, I have 2.5 units on the fight doesn't go to decision at minus 210. Kind of jumped the gun there. I was not really expecting other books to hang it around like the minus 200 range. I saw like a minus 180. Was not expecting that because it is a Jordan Wright fight. But yeah, 2.5 units on that. And then also DraftKings had the fight ends in KO, minus 115. I put a unit on that is currently minus 125. I still like that. Barriault, 0 submission wins. Wright does have some submission wins, but against Alaska FC fighters, which don't really count, honestly. But I think this fight does end in KO. So I have 2.5 units on the fight doesn't go, a unit on the fight ends in KO. And then I put a quarter unit sprinkle on Jordan Wright to win by KO in round 1. That is literally his path to victory. He's not going to go out there and grind out a decision. He's not going to go out there and win by knockout in the second round. He's not going to go out there and submit Marc-Andre Barriault. If Jordan Wright wins this fight, it's going to be in round 1. So I put a quarter unit sprinkle on that. I know Uncle Weezy got that plus 1,000. I was going to wait and hope that FanDuel would put out a better price, but FanDuel took till like Thursday to get it out. And by the time they did, plus 800, I'll take it. So yeah, 3 bets. Fight doesn't go, fight ends in KO, and then Jordan Wright, round 1 KO, quarter unit on that. And I feel like I should be even going heavier on the fight doesn't go. But as we know, bankroll management, anything can happen. Maybe Jordan Wright comes out here, goes for takedowns, grinds out a decision, but that's not Jordan Wright's style. He's going to come out here, stand and bang. He's going to try to kill Marc-Andre Barriault within the first 30 seconds. He's like a wild man. If he does it, he does it. If he doesn't, Marc-Andre Barriault is going to break him. He's going to crash forward. Jordan Wright's not going to know what the heck to do. And I think Barriault knocks him out in the end of the first round there. But yeah, I cannot wait for this fight. Jordan Wright fights are awesome, and I'm a big fan of the guy. You should be able to lock in the under 1.5. Yeah, I think the under 1.5 hits, but just give me the fight doesn't go. It kind of covers a little bit more. Right, round 3. He's never been to a round 3. You're feeding my homeland for the bearded ninja. Bearded ninja sounds pretty terrifying. And we do crap on him with love. I remember Uncle Weezy was talking about Jordan Wright getting knocked out by a hot shower, and it's true. Marc-Andre's chin might be sus from his last KO. Yeah, definitely. And he's coming back way too early. You want to take at least a few months off. This guy's coming back like 2 months off. So I don't know. Seems a little bit too early, especially getting knocked out bad. If Jordan Wright does what Jordan Wright, he might take it early. Yeah, if Jordan Wright wins, it's going to be early. Right inside the distance, testosterone is flowing with that beard. Yeah, Wright's scary. Like offensively, Wright is a very scary dude. It doesn't look like it, but this guy is very scary. Um, If that is true, Wright did wobble Silva. He has power. He absolutely does. Wright starching Barrio. I hope so for my bet's sake. I used under 1.5 as a big parlay piece. I like the under 1.5. I like the fight doesn't go. And I saw Clint did like a PRP like Cody does, but for fight doesn't goes. I love that. I love that. I might do something like that as well, but because I think a lot of these fights do finish. Shout out to Clint. Under 1.5 is plus money, and I think it hits fairly easy. Jordan will either finish or gas after 5. And yeah, I think this fight finishes in round 1. His chin might hold up better with no weight cut. You're talking about Barrio or Wright? I mean, I don't think Wright has a good chin in general. I think Barrio's very good chin. Kind of a one-off getting starched in his last fight. I was not expecting that, but we'll have to see what happens. Press the like button. I agree, General. Thank you all so much for hanging out. 137 of you in here on a Friday. Do appreciate you all. You all can leave a like button and subscribe here to DFS by the numbers and also to the MMA Engine YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff going on over there. All right, we'll keep moving on. The excitement is starting to die down a little bit. The prelims for me, I'm going to have a ton of action on these prelims. I think every single fight could finish on the prelims outside of the Grant Kondoshko fight. Even that fight might finish. Maybe Grant knocks him out, but I think every fight but that fight is going to finish. So maybe like a prelim violence parlay give you something to look at. But we'll go to the main card here. We have Charles Jourdain going against Leno Venata. And yeah, nothing here. This is a close fight, and we're going to see 3 really close fights on this main card, and then 2 fights where I think the fighters just completely roll. But the first close fight is going to be Jourdain Venata. I think it's very close. You have about a pick 'em on each side. I think that's about right. You know, I thought Venata might come in here and potentially wrestle, and I think that would be smart. Venata's control is not great. Jourdain, black belt, really good get-up game. I don't think Venata is going to be able to control Jourdain, but I do think he could take him down here or there. I think that's definitely on the table. And then on the feet, it's going to be very close and competitive. I do like the striking of Jourdain a little bit more. I like the power. He's more dangerous as well. And this guy's young. He's improving. So I do slightly lean towards the Jourdain side. But, if this goes to decision, which I do think it does, I think it's going to be very close. And, speaking of that, we have 2 guys that are really good finishers. We have Jourdain, who has a 92% finish rate, and Venata, who has a 75% finish rate. But it's just, both these guys are so durable that I think this does go to decision more often than not. You have Jourdain, who's never been knocked out. This guy has a crazy good chin on him, and Venata never been knocked out in a big sample size, crazy chin on him. I think this is a war. I think it's a fun fight, but I think it does go to decision. So if anything, I would take the fight goes to decision, but even that's like a terrifying bet. Like both these guys are so dangerous. Like there could be a finish, but I'm kind of relying on the durability here. As far as DK goes, I'm not going to touch Charles Jourdain much at 8,500. There's so many other plays I do like more. Venata as a dog at 7,700. I think you got to play him because there's not a ton of dogs you like out there this week. Venata will have some takedown upside. So if anything on DraftKings, it's going to be some Venata. But from a betting perspective, there's just nothing that sticks out. Even like the decision props, like they're not great. Like this is a fight where you should be getting a solid line on the fight goes to decision because these guys are so dangerous. Because Charles Jourdain, this guy does not typically win decisions. He's won one in his career. So paying chalk on a fight goes, I don't know. I think it hits, but probably not for me. I'm probably going to pass on this one. But good fight. This is probably, I'll say this is probably the highest level fight on the entire card outside of the main event. That's a high level fight as well. But other than that, not a ton of high level fights. But this is definitely one of them. So you got to like that. I like the fight. Give me Jourdain, but little to no confidence. There's some very close fights on this card, and there's going to be some blowouts. This is one of those very close fights that I think can go either way. Paul Pierce liking Lando slightly. However you like, I think you got to like him slightly. We got Big Show in the chat. Well, what is up, Big Show? How you doing? We got Bag in the chat as well. Rocky with Charles. Lando's Lando. I don't know what's up with Lando this week or at weigh-ins. He looked off. He looked weird. Hopefully he's all right. But yeah, that wake up must have been rough. All over De La Rosa. We'll talk about that fight. The first fight on the main card might be a sleeper. Yeah, this fight's gonna be good. Lando scares me, so I bet him. Yeah, he did scare me at weigh-ins. For sure. Jourdain's only weakness is defensive wrestling. Venata can exploit that. I agree. But can he hold him down is the question. If I knew that Lando could hold him down, Lando would be a pretty easy bet here. It's just I don't know if he can. Yeah, Jourdain does turn it up 10 notches in round 3. That is true. 9 of their last 5 have gone over 1.5. So yeah, whatever the 1.5 is, that could be something to look at. I know, Glenn, you like parlaying those 1.5s and you've been having success with it. I think that is one you could definitely parlay. Jourdain is way bigger than Venata. Yeah, he's definitely bigger. Lando has faced a better comp. I side with him. He looked great in the move in weight down at the weigh-ins, but we put too much stock in appearance. Remember Close last week? Yeah, I mean, you can't look into it that much. Close looked like completely awful, and he came out there and had the best performance of his life. And then there was one before that. It was what's his face? Arce looked bad as well. So yeah, screw the weigh-ins. Just go with who you think wins. And I think that Jourdain wins. I think before the weigh-ins, Jourdain wins. So I'm going to pick Jourdain. Weigh-ins are not going to sway me. You can't let him sway you too much. Unless it's like an Aspen Ladd situation. That is the one time. If it's an Aspen Ladd situation, if she's crying on the scales, if she's almost, if she's wobbly, like, that's where you can look into the weigh-ins a little bit. But if they look like crap, who cares? Yeah, there's a bunch of instances where people looked like crap and won. Like there was it Ryan Spann who looked really bad, went out there and starched somebody in the first round. It can happen. So unless you see in like an Aspen Ladd, I wouldn't worry about it that much. All right, so let's keep moving on. We have the People's main event. There's a bunch of People's main events on this card. Alexander Romanov, Chase Sherman. They announced this fight on, was it Tuesday or Wednesday? I want to say it was Wednesday. And I look at the tweet. Shout out to Big Marcel. And I thought it was a joke. I thought it was a complete joke. I'm like, what? First of all, Chase Sherman got cut. Second of all, this is the biggest mismatch in probably UFC history. Like, I can't think of another mismatch this bad within the last few years. Like, this is bad. This is very bad. Like, we got to remember, Jake Collier just went out there, took down Chase Sherman, and Sherman looked like a fish out of water on his back. What is going to happen if Alexander Romanov takes down Chase Sherman? If Collier can take you down, take your back, and submit you, what is Alexander Romanov going to do to you? Like, this is bad. I can't believe this fight is sanctioned. This should be absolutely illegal. This is not good. Minus 2,400. Obviously, you can't parlay it. I've actually seen people parlaying up Romanov and Dean Barry. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. But I mean, if you want winners, yeah, they win, right? But it doesn't really add much value to your parlays. Romanov should come out here. He should take down Sherman within the first 10 seconds. And once this fight hits the mat, if this fight hits the mat once in the first round, it's over. It is absolutely over. Romanov's going to pick him up. He's going to slam him. And then Chase Sherman is a fish out of water on his back. He has nothing. Sherman's takedown defense is good. So if Sherman can't keep it on the feet, maybe he can have some success on the feet. But if this fight hits the mat in any type of way, the fight's over. Sherman has no ground game. Sherman coming in on short notice. Is he prepared? No, he's not. You cannot prepare for Alexander Romanov in a couple of days, especially if you're Chase Sherman. Romanov starches him. I mean, there's a reason Romanov to win in round 1 is like minus 290. He's going to take him down. He's going to finish him shortly after. So really, there's not a ton of ways you can play this. I think the fight doesn't go to decision at minus 610 like that. Actually surprised me. I mean, some books have it like minus 750. That seems a little bit more accurate. Like, this fight's going to end. This fight's going to end early on. I think Romanov inside the distance is a parlay piece. Like, minus 2,400 on the money line, minus 450 inside the distance. Like, that minus 450 could very well be a parlay piece. But what I actually did was I do have a bet on this fight. I have it in a parlay. And you guys know me and the whole parlay thing. I hate parlays, but I do think this one hits. And I would really be surprised if neither of these legs hit. And I know I say that every time, but yeah, I'd really would be surprised if this parlay didn't hit. So we have Alexander Romanov, Chase Sherman, under 1.5 rounds, minus 300. Parlayed with Tyson Pedro, Ike Villanueva. Fight doesn't go to decision. Minus 450 for a grand total of minus 159. And I have 2.5 units on it. I just don't see how Sherman lasts a round and a half, and I don't see how Sherman lasts a round. So one takedown, fight's over. Romanov inside the distance is a parlay piece. The under 1.5 opened up minus 175 and went to completely hammer it, and it moved right away. I thought, okay, I'll wait for other books to get it out, and then it went to like minus 300. So you can't really play the under 1.5 straight, but I think the under 1.5, as crazy as it sounds, is a solid parlay piece this week. Romanov starts this guy, and I can't believe this is sanctioned, and somebody probably needs to get fired because this is a big mismatch. So on DraftKings, Romanov, my highest exposed fighter. I think he has takedown upside. I don't think he has control time upside, and the reason for that is I think he takes him down and just smashes him right away. But I think he has like early finish upside. I think Romanov has the biggest ceiling on the slate and by a mile. If you're on Chase Sherman, I don't know what to tell you. I know Tajik is the GOAT. He's on Chase Sherman. He's on Chase Sherman by knockout. Tajik, if you hit that, much respect, but my goodness, that would be a huge upset. Are people really saying Lando looked good at the weigh-ins? He looked sucked out. Yeah, I thought he looked really bad, but whatever. Can't look into. I don't have any action on that fight, so it doesn't really affect me. But yeah, I thought Lando looked bad. Romanov round 2 plus 550. I don't think Sherman survives, but yeah, plus 550. That's decent. Romanov round 1 takes him down, club and sub forearm choke. Yeah, I think he chokes him out. Romanov and Cyborg inside the distance parlay. There you go. Sherman said at the media day that the UFC should double his show money, which means Sherman only came here for the money. Coleman outside the distance is a lock. Yeah, nothing in MMA is a lock, but I think there's a couple locks this week. Like Romanov is a lock. I'd be shocked if Sherman won the fight. Might bet the round 2 starts just because, but I do agree. Slim Kong, yeah, Romanov looked in incredible shape. Like this guy lost like 20 or 25 pounds even. He looked the best shape ever, and Sherman is just not UFC caliber. Yeah, he did wake. Round 2 finish for Romanov seems likely. If not round 1, yeah, maybe sprinkle the round 2. Want to cover that as well. Tajik, you better put some respect on the GOAT's name. Come on, Tajik is he's the GOAT, man. Tajik is the GOAT. Romanov versus Sherman is going to be a crime scene. Yeah, it's bad. It's very bad. When you pick Sherman KO, nobody's going to say you suck when you lose because he's supposed to. But if he does, you're a genius. Yeah, you could. That is true. Romanov round is the only value play. Yeah, Romanov round 1. I think I saw it like minus 290, something crazy like that. But maybe other books will have it better. I'm still waiting for like FanDuel and DraftKings to get the lines out for that. But I might add on to something like, I don't know, there could be something that sticks out. But right now I have the under 1.5. And again, I never play under 1.5s, but there are certain situations like I did for the Craig Hill fight, I believe. I did for the Craig and Antigulov fight as well. There's certain situations where you like those under 1.5s, and Jordan Wright fights, of course. But yeah, I think this is definitely one of them. If Chase Sherman survives the first round, and with not surviving against Jake Collier, I really do not know what to say. But we'll see what happens there. We have the next fight, Macy Barber going against Montana De La Rosa, and another really close fight. But the line does not indicate this as being a close fight. We have Macy Barber minus 180, Montana De La Rosa plus 155. I've been extremely unimpressed with Macy Barber since she returned from her injury. Like her striking accuracy looks terrible. Like I remember the Grasso fight. She was like 10 feet away from Grasso, just punching air for 15 minutes. Like it was not a good look. I think she had like a 28% accuracy in that fight. And then she comes back against Maverick, and Maverick is a very good grappler. Maverick's striking is getting better. Her striking is a work in progress. But it was actually Maverick that was having success on the feet, and Barber in that fight as well only had like a 30% striking accuracy. So, Barber's striking has looked, very questionable to say the least since her return. She should have the striking advantage here, but what happens if Montana De La Rosa takes her down? This is a sketchy fight. This is a dog or pass all day. It's just a fight I do not really want to bet on. I'm tempted on Montana De La Rosa, but I don't know. Macy Barber, could she stuff the takedowns, keep it on the feet, and outstrike De La Rosa? Sure, I guess, but minus 180, I just don't understand. No bet on this fight yet. I don't think I'm going to bet this fight, but I think De La Rosa has a really good chance of winning this fight, and probably by decision as well. Macy Barber, 9,000 on DK, easy pass when you have absolute killers up top: Romanov, Pedro, Barry, Arichi Long, Amanda, Jessica Andrade. You can't play Macy Barber there. Montana De La Rosa, on the other hand, I do like her on DraftKings. Maybe that's where I'll get my exposure to De La Rosa. I do like her, especially in cash, because you got to take a look at it this way. You need to go up and get Romanov, Pedro, guys like that. You have to punt down. Who are you going to choose for your punt? Are you going to choose Mike Jackson? No, you're not. Are you going to choose Chase Sherman? Of course you're not. Are you going to choose Ike Villanueva? No. Are you going to choose Cameron Else? Maybe, but he's around one or bust. You got to go with Montana De La Rosa in a cash format. She's going to have a good floor. I think she can even win. So I think that's where I'll get my exposure to her. But as far as a bet, I'm probably just going to sit back and pass on this one. There are people very confident on either side, people very confident in Barber, people very confident in Montana De La Rosa. But it seems to be that case for every single women's MMA fight. We have a side that is so confident in one side, a side that is so confident in the other. And more often than not, you end up looking like an idiot when you're confident in one side and it loses. So I'm not going to look like an idiot. I'm not going to bet this fight, but I will pick Montana De La Rosa, and I'll take her to win by decision. De La Rosa has made some upper body enhancements, and women have been losing with the big fake ones. Does Wheezy have a stat on that? I would be shocked if Wheezy did, honestly. Macy looked off, but she is a gym rat. Yeah, she's just been looking off like the past couple of fights. I don't know what it is, but she's young. We'll see what happens. De La Rosa by decision. I always fade De La Rosa, but she could get it to the ground. Yeah, I did not fade her in her last fight against Lipsky, and she destroyed Lipsky. I had a big bet on De La Rosa last time. De La Rosa all day. We know how Barber's last fight with Maverick really went. Yeah, she lost that fight. Macy Barber is on Ian Parker's parlay. I don't know how anybody could parlay Macy Barber, but maybe it works out. It could work out. The tits metric, I like it. Dan saying might bet violence. If Macy throws 500 strikes and lands 3 of them, yeah, she's going to land maybe 2 of them. Could cut Rosa. Rosa could snatch Macy's neck. Yeah, violence could be something to look at. Fight doesn't go is plus 185. Not horrible. See if I missed anything here. If De La Rosa gets it down to the ground, better grappler wrestling. That is true. Top control, but she bleeds a lot. That does not look good to the judges. Yeah, it's a close fight. But I saw De La Rosa by split decision plus 1,100 on DraftKings. That's kind of interesting. The plus 1,100 for a split decision. I think it goes to decision. It's close. Who knows? I don't think I'm going to play it though. We'll move on to the co-main event. We have Claudio Puelles going against Clay Guida, and yeah, a lot of people on Clay Guida. I'm actually kind of surprised. Like everybody's on Clay Guida, and I think he could win this fight. He's going to have a lot of advantages. Both guys are going to have some advantages. So Clay Guida is going to have the experience advantage. He's going to have the wrestling advantage, and most importantly, he is going to have the cardio advantage. Clay Guida's cardio is top notch. Claudio Puelles, he's going to be much, much younger. He's going to have the grappling advantage. I think this fight is so close. Like what game plan is Clay Guida going to come in here with? Is he going to go out there and shoot takedowns against Claudio Puelles? Is he going to take him down? If he does that, Puelles wants to be on the mat. Like that's kind of doing him a favor. And, Puelles is going to have opportunities to find the submission. Is Clay Guida going to use his wrestling defensively, which this is what I think. He's going to use the wrestling defensively, keep it on the feet, and strike with Puelles for 15 minutes. I think that's kind of more so the game plan. And if that happens, it's going to be a very close fight. Puelles, training out of Sanford, very young guy. His striking's looked like much improved. His past couple fights, I wasn't expecting him to be, competitive in the striking exchange with Grutzmacher his last fight, but he actually was. Clay Guida, not the best striker in the world. Very bad striking accuracy, but I think the striking is very competitive. It's just the cardio of Clay Guida is what you really got to like if you're on the Clay Guida side. But no bet for me. I saw Puelles like last week was like plus 150. That was interesting, but it should be a pick. I mean, it's a close fight. I think on the feet it is very, very close. And I think Clay Guida, if he wants to, take down Puelles. Go ahead. But Puelles is going to have opportunities to find the submission. Puelles, very solid grappler. Clay Guida submitted 10 times. If anything, I would take a shot on the Puelles sub prop plus 450. I guess that's tempting. I think that is his path to victory, but honestly, not a fight I really want much to do with. I'm going to pick Puelles to win. Not a ton of interest on this fight from a DraftKings perspective since we did get the Parsons Elder fight added at 8,100. But if anything, it's going to be Puelles for me. I do have some Puelles, not a ton of Guida, but I'll pick Puelles for the slight upset with, again, not a ton of confidence. Very, very close fight. Both guys have their advantages. Do you think Clay Guida can out-cardio him, take him down, stay safe on top? outstrike him, or do you think Poyas submits him? It's a close fight, but give me Poyas there. Guida's been subbed in 10 of his 21 losses. Yeah, he's been submitted a lot. Can't believe how many people are on Guida. It kind of feels like the Ronson fight last week. Like everybody was on Ronson. And maybe they're right this week with Guida, but it's a close fight. Like it would not shock me if Guida won. It's a close one. Guida all day. Poyas isn't subbing anyone, not bottom of the barrel. We will see. Hey, I'm at work and missed most of the live. Unfortunately, do you like Jessica Andrade, Tyson Pedro, and Dean Barry all to win? Of course I do. Of course. Poyas getting disrespect. I wouldn't say, I mean, maybe by people, but the odds makers are not disrespecting. Like this is a closely lined fight. By the way people are talking, it should be minus 500 Clay Guida, but it's only minus 120, which is the interesting thing. Guida isn't better. I mean, he's 40. Face-offs were very interesting. Yeah, Poyas was like looked like a whole weight class bigger than him. No problem. GG. I was all over Rafa inside the distance. Feels way similar. And yeah, maybe Poyas can submit him. I just don't have any confidence in it. Poyas will not be able to submit Guida. He has not been submitted in 3 years, and that was Jim Miller. And before that, Oliveira. Poyas is no near their level. Hey, can't deny that. Can't deny that. Enjoy your value on Poyas. Then, dude, I think you're throwing it away. No, I'm not throwing anything away. I don't have a dollar on this fight, but yeah, 40-year-old Guida, he's definitely live, man. He has the cardio, and cardio wins fights. And I think that is Guida's biggest advantage in this fight against Poyas. But no, I will have no money on this fight whatsoever. But I will have money on the main event. Before we get into the main event, if you guys can, again, please leave a like. That is much appreciated. Subscribe here to the channel. Also, click the link down below, take you to the MMA Engine. Subscribe to the MMA Engine. We're, I think, over 600 subs over there. So thank you guys for that. We added a new show. Couple new shows throughout the week coming up as well. And just lots of stuff going on over there. So yeah, check us out over there. Me, Uncle Weezy, Narco, and Eric will be going live 1 hour prior to the prelims tomorrow for Best Bet. Check us out there as well. Cannot wait for that show. It should be fun. I think lots of plays are going to be sticking out for sure. Eagle Eye, what is a good three-leg parlay? Parlay some of those fight doesn't goes. War Clay, Guida. All right. Here we go. People getting really passionate about the Guida Poyas fight, and rightfully so. A lot of people are on Clay Guida this week. Jessica Andrade going against Amanda Lemos. We have Andrade minus 215. Lemos is plus 185, and I was really tempted to just hammer the Andrade money line at like minus 175, minus 180 early in the week. Don't know why I didn't, but now it's minus 215. So we kind of missed the boat there. But I love Andrade in the spot. I truly believe that Lemos, if she wins this fight, it's going to be round one. If not, I think Andrade takes over and smokes her. I think even Andrade can win in round one as well. Lemos, her last fight against Angela Hill was just not a great look to me. She won the first round. The second round, it looks like she kind of took it off. She didn't throw really anything. She kind of came back in the third round, and really close third round. Watching it live, I thought Angela Hill absolutely won that third round, especially if you thought that, I think it was like a spinning elbow, was a knockdown. But once you look at it again and slow it down a little bit, I don't think it was a knockdown, and they didn't count it as a knockdown. But when you're watching it live, yeah, I thought, Hill dropped her. And, when you're a judge and you're watching it live, maybe they thought they dropped her. Maybe they didn't. Obviously, they didn't because, Angela Hill lost the fight. But I thought Angela Hill won the fight. And then watching it back, I thought it was very, very close. Could have been either way. But I still scored it for Angela Hill. But just not a good look. Like Jessica Andrade, she's going to have a ton of advantages here. More volume. She's going to have a ton of power. She's going to, be more experienced. She's younger. She's fought the better competition. She only loses to the best of the best. And most importantly, she has great cardio, whereas Lemos, I don't think she does. I really don't. So if you like Lemos, I would recommend betting the Lemos round 1 KO plus 1,000. But if not, I like Andrade. I like Andrade inside the distance. I like the fight doesn't go to decision. This is a 115 pounds women's matchup, strawweight. And that's why we're getting a discount on this fight doesn't go. Like, we do not see strawweights hit this hard. In terms of power, Lemos and Andrade, they are both in that top 3 in terms of power at strawweight. Both these fighters hit like absolute trucks for 115 pounds. So we're getting the fight doesn't go at minus 205. I have 2 bets on this fight. No, I have 1 bet. I have one bet and then I added on. So I bet the fight doesn't go to decision. I have 2.5 units on it at minus 185. And then I also added on a unit onto that at minus 200 for the fight doesn't go. I think it's Lemos early. I think it's Andrade. Could be early as well. But if the fight does get extended, it massively does favor Andrade there. Andrade has been 5 rounds before. Lemos has not. I think Lemos early is going to have opportunities. Andrade is hittable. Lemos does hit hard. But as the fight goes on, I think Andrade kind of takes over and smokes her. So I like me some Andrade on DK. Lemos on DK is not terrible. Again, like down in that range, you have Mike Jackson, Chase Sherman, Ike Villanueva, Cameron Ellis. There's not a ton, so you kind of got to play Lemos. And I did play some Lemos, but I think Andrade smokes her here. But yeah, give me that fight doesn't go. Absolutely give me that fight doesn't go. Man, people hating in the chat. I love it. And yeah, really looking forward to this card. A ton of bets. Let's see. The chat is moving. Andrade finishes Lemos faster than Dean Barry finishes Mike. Romanov finishes Sermon combined. I disagree with that. I think she can, but Sherman's going to get finished in the first round. Mike's going to get finished in the first round. I think Andrade could also finish in the first round for sure. I'd say Andrade's money line is a good leg for a parlay. Safe legs. Pedro Villanueva fight doesn't go. Roman Sherman under 1.5. Confident picks. Montana. Poyas, Jordan Wright. Are we talking to Eagle there? Sprinkle round 2 and round 3. Yeah, the problem with the sprinkles is I think she could finish her in the first round, the second round, the third round, the fourth round, the fifth round. I think she could finish in any round. That's the only problem. Is it possible to get the entire table into one shot? Unfortunately, it is not, unless I like zoomed out. But at that point, you probably wouldn't be able to see it that great. Appreciate you, Cole. I'm putting 10K on Mandridge. There you go. I'm honestly a fan of Jordan Wright. To be honest, his style was fun to watch. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Jordan Wright. All right. Main event goes the distance. Hopefully not. I have my biggest bet on him. Well, my second biggest bet is going to be on that main event. But if you think it goes the distance, you're getting some really good odds there for a strawweight fight. That's for sure. All right. I'll quickly guard my bets. Then we'll head out of here. No problem. Get Darst. If you want the link to the sheet, hit me up on Twitter or something. I can get it to you. You can take a look at it. All right. Let's take a look at the bets here. So tons of bets. And I'm actually looking to maybe just add some sprinkles. But this is mostly it. And if I do add any sprinkles, might talk about it on the betting breakdown video that's going to come out tomorrow. But we have fight doesn't go to decision in the main event, minus 185, 2.5 units. I also added a unit on that at minus 200 for a total of 3.5 units on the fight doesn't go in the main event. 2.5 units on the fight doesn't go in the Marc-Andre Barrio Jordan Wright fight, minus 210. I also have a unit on the fight ends in KO, minus 115. And then I also have a quarter unit on Wright to win by first round knockout, plus 800. Cameron Ellis fight doesn't go to decision. 2.5 units, minus 175. Really like that spot. My parlay of the week is going to be Chase Sherman, Alexander Romanov under 1.5. Parlay with Tyson Pedro, Ike Villanueva. Fight doesn't go. Minus 159, 2.5 units on that. I also did the Pedro KO plus 200, half a unit. Pedro submission plus 180, half a unit, kind of spreaded it out rather than playing the inside the distance. It worked out better that way. 1.5 units on the Prochnio, Linz under 2.5, minus 155. And then Linz wins by KO, half a unit, plus 310. Dean Barry, Mike Jackson under 1.5 rounds, minus 121, 1 unit on that. And then the Parsons Elder fight doesn't go to decision, 2 units, minus 190. So lots of violence. I love violence, and I think there will be violence this card. Spots I'm looking at potentially adding. I want to see what they put out the Parsons submission prop at. Plus 245 is not going to cut it, but maybe another book gets out something a little bit better. Other than that, nothing really else is sticks out. Romanov round 1, maybe sprinkle Romanov round 2, just kind of hedge. I don't see it getting to round 3. I'd be shocked. I'm tempted on De La Rosa, but I think it's going to be best to just pass. And then that's it. Like Andrade inside the distance is interesting, but I do have a ton of money already on that fight doesn't go. So it should be a fun card. It should be a very, very fun card. Thanks for final thoughts. Brady, good luck tomorrow. Good luck to you as well. Alex saying press the like button. I do agree with that. We're getting out of here just under an hour. We did it. Leave a like, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the MMA Engine. We'll talk to you very soon. Should be a fun card. You can follow me on Twitter, DFS_numbers, Instagram, DFS by numbers. I'll be putting my final picks out there tomorrow on both Instagram and Twitter. Best of luck, guys. Let us make some money, and we'll